How's it going, guys? I got a short little game against a guy by the name of xIDefyFatexI. I'm pretty sure I took that down wrong even after the stream, so if it's wrong in the title, pick a different name. That is... no comment. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and play that back right, now. Okay, so got the little mixed team thingy kind of thing, and then I'm noticing right off the bat with Swampert, Gastrodon, and Rotom Wash, he's got a grass weakness, and a kind of big one, and I'm looking at my team like, do I have any grass type moves? Nope. So that kind of sucks, but I figure I'll find a different way to deal with it. The problem is both of those guys, actually all three of those guys tend to run burning moves, you know, Scald, Will-O-Wisp, and then Scald in that order. Victini can sometimes run Will-O-Wisp, which is really uncommon, but, you know, the water types can burn me. That's something I'm going to have to keep in mind when I'm playing, but other than that, you know, we're just going to jump into it and see what happens. So, he leads off with Swampert. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with my Victini. It happens to be Scarfed. I figure I can just go ahead and go for the U-turn regardless of what he goes ahead and leads with. So, I do that. Now, I do expect the Stealth Rocks on the first turn because most important move the goddamn game. And if I do get it right, I can bounce back. If I don't, then I'm not really going to end up taking... I'm not going to die from an Earthquake. And if he goes for a Roar for whatever fucking reason, I'll bounce it right back. And if he goes for Scald, probably live that too. So, those are the four moves I was expecting. Fortunately, I did predict right on the Stealth Rocks on the first turn because, you know, that's kind of something you do on the first turn, whatever. But, bounce them back. Now I am predicting the physical move. So, I'm going to go ahead and go into Vaporeon. He probably decided to go for this over Scald just to not give me the Water Absorb, which was kind of smart. And that he ended up getting a fucking crit on this. So, now this actually kind of hinders me a little bit because I do want to have this thing up at a decent amount of HP to play around his Victini and possibly his Machamp as well. But I'm going to go for Wish. He's going to go ahead and go for another Earthquake. Provided he doesn't get 2 crits, I can Wish back up normally. But the thing is he knows that I'm not going to want to pass it off to Espeon and bounce back the rocks again. That's stupid. I want to stay in, protect, take the Wish, and not even try to risk it. So he's going to end up getting a Stealth Rocks up anyways, which is like... shit. But the only real thing on my team that's affected by it is Victini, so... whatever, it's not that big a deal. It's annoying because I did bounce him and I was like, I'm just gonna try to take this thing out before I can get him set up. That's fine. We both have rocks. We both don't have spinners. It's kind of even playing grounds now. So he brings in Gastrodon on a turn. I decide to go for Scald. I'm like, shit, I probably should have gone for Toxic because I forgot this thing was around, you know, like 3 or 4 turns into the game. You forget what to write down, then all of a sudden, oh, something comes in, gets a boost, and then you're screwed. Except I'm not really screwed, but whatever. I do have Toxic on this thing still, just like mainly for this kind of scenario, for other Vaporeons and then Gastrodons, shit like this, slash things I would rather have Toxic as opposed to burn, you know, shit like that. So, he's gonna go for an Earth Power, which is actually boosted by the Storm Drain, and it still really doesn't do that much. It doesn't bring me down a half, is what I'm trying to say. I can Toxic Stall him out a little bit, which is what I'm gonna try to do right now. Go for Wish, go for Protect, go for Wish, go for Protect, see if he tries to switch out. I'm just trying to get back up to full after that crit, and you're going to see right now that I didn't even get to get my bearings back in order properly, because he ends up getting a second crit. Fucking Vaporeon can't take 2 crits. That, like, I'm trying to still recover from the first one. So, Machamp got 4 hands. None of them are designed for taking any of your shit or giving any fucks for the rest of your team. So, he's going to come in, decide to go for the Dynamic Punch, obviously faster because Gastrodon's a goddamn slug. And hopefully I can get some Confusion Hacks going on. By the way, this is the first match that I actually saw Dynamic Punch's animation. Just, wow, that shit looks cool. But he ends up hitting himself, like right off the bat, so he's at red HP. Now what I can do right here, I was actually subbing up predicting the Recover and not the Toxic, but I didn't really expect him to attack me like right off the bat, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for the sub and be good to go, because if he recovers, then he also has odds he could hit himself. If he wants to switch out, whatever, I'll have a free sub, but he ends up going for the Toxic as opposed to the attacking move. That's cool, you know, I end up dodging it because I'm faster, and this thing ends up dying to some Toxic damage, so pretty awesome. And Machamp is sitting good behind his sub. I think I got a little bit ahead of myself, but whatever. Hi, how's it going? Shit. Okay, so Thunderous does come in. Now, Thunderous and Rotom both have volt switching potential, which is like, okay, what I should have done is I probably should have just gone for the sub again to see what he was going to go into. But if he was a smart player, he would have gone back and forth between Thunderous and Rotom Wash until I ran out of HP with the subs. But then again, his Thunderous would have run out of HP very quickly with the Stealth Rock switching, which is 25% off, and then the Life Orb damage, which is 35%. His Thunderous would have been dead after doing that like 3 more times. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go for Stone Edge, and because No Guard is awesome. Imagine if Machamp, by the way, got No Guard and High Jump Kick. Woo! That would be such a great thing. But no, he's got Dynamic Punch, and that's kind of cool too, because he's got 4 arms to Dynamic Punch with. But I ended up going for the Stone Edge. My point I was trying to make earlier is doesn't miss thanks to No Guard, and ended up taking out the Victini. I was trying to take out a Thunderous, but that kind of works too. So, slash hit, whatever. But decided to go into Espeon right now because I was like, okay, he's bringing this in because I don't have a sub, and he's either going to try to trick me or burn me. I don't care if I have a Scarf Espeon, and if he does go for the Willows, I'll just bounce it right back, that's fine. But he ends up going for Volt Switch, take a little bit of damage, and by a little, I mean a lot. What the fuck, am I blind? No. Okay, so, Psyshock. I have Psyshock just for Chansey and Blissey and shit like that. It's pretty circumstantial. When I do end up using it, you know, great, then, but in this situation, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Psyshock kind of sucks in most situations. There you go, especially this one, because he ended up living. But I do still have a Machamp of my own, and this dude is just, look at the muscles on this guy's back. Like, they're there for a reason, but he's going to go for a Bullet Punch, actually expecting me to kill him off. You're setup fodder, buddy. You are, like, absolute setup fodder. And he decides to not go for the Bullet Punch right there. It really didn't matter what he would have done right there. To be honest, I probably would have switched out, or I guess foddering there was right. I don't know what I would have done. Maybe gone out into Swampert, but it's just that 2 turns right there. Great for my sub, just not so good for him. But he goes back out to his original strategy, which is to try to Volt Switch, break my sub, things like that. I was like, I'm just going to go for a Dynamic Punch, confuse the next switch in, and if it hits itself, I can go for another sub. And then just look at that animation. God, Black and White 2. Wow. Wowie, wowie, wowie. Okay, so Swampert's confused. As you can see, it's not taken too much from Dynamic Punch. It is only a 100... I'm not going to say only 100 base power, but when you compare it with shit like Close Combat, High Jump Kick, Super Power, and Focus Punch, you know, there are stronger fighting moves out there that it can use. I think Machamp does end up getting Close Combat, but whatever. It's not going to be enough to take it out in like 2 hits, easy. It will take like 2 or 3, but he does hit himself in confusion on the turn that I decided to try to set up a sub. And that's pretty cool. So, and I don't know why it was 100 base power only. Like, what does that say about all the other moves? I'm stupid sometimes, I'm sorry. But it does have the confusion chance, and that's probably why it's 50% accuracy, and on Machamp, it's so cool. So, that thing's gone, and I'm behind a sub again. So, what do you think I'm going to do? Rotom goes for the Volt Switch. I already saw that earlier when he did it on Espeon. I'm going to go ahead and go for that subbing shenanigans again, because all he has left is Rotom and Thunderous. Thunderous is taking a lot from the Stealth Rocks, and it has Life Orb. So, remember when I said I can only do it 3 times? Yeah, this is the 3rd time. I don't know why I'm doing my 3s like that. 3 Gleise, like, Glorious Bastards. There was a, what is this? I think that was the 3. Not this. This. The English dude, the American dude did it like this and then he got fucked. But they do it like this. That's a secret. Okay, anyways, there was a 3rd one, and I ended up subbing again, so we just ended up dying from Life of Recoil. And I get a free sub, so Rotom comes in, takes a little bit of Stealth Rocks damage, and that's basically going to be the game. Just try to break my sub with Volt Switch, and Machamp is just going to go ahead and punch everything on his team. Like, fuck, that was a lot of punches, but that's kind of why I saved it, because that was really a lot of Dynamic Punches. And they look really cool in this generation. So, a little bit of a shorter game, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. I have 2 games I'm contemplating tomorrow. I have a standard match and a monocolor. I'm still like on the fence as to which one I want to do, but I guess you guys will see that in your sub box. I did work on that last episode of Battle Network 2, for those of you guys that were actually looking forward to it. That is going to be on Saturday. So, there's that, and that should do it out of me, and I will see you guys on the next one.